That tells you that there is something out there.
Pretty hard to spoof that.
Absolutely. Los Alamos, Oak Ridge National Labs, MacDill Air Force Base, Edwards Air Force Base, the remote test site in Nevada, also known as Air Force Flight Test Center Detachment 3. That's the actual terminology for Groom Lake facility.
From what I hear you guys saying, there's something.
I don't know who's building it, who's got the technology, who's got the brains, but there's something out there that better than our airplane.
So it's not us. That's one thing we know.
We know that.
I could say that with a very high degree of confidence.
For someone to try to bust down the walls, it's not going to happen. You'd have to go to all these facilities, get into their vaults, then bring that out as a united coalition. Not one person couldn't do it. It would take a united coalition of acknowledged scientists to come forward with it.
Well, you know, this is a groundbreaking moment. It's not every day when you make the #1 spot in the major players of distribution of content like iTunes and Amazon. But what's going on right now? I know you've been working behind the scenes extensively, Michael, as of recent days, going back and forth, some big things coming up. What do you make of the end game right now? Are we getting closer to disclosure?
Well, I could say that additional witnesses are coming forward. It's limited on what we can say, but people, now that we have a new mechanism for witnesses to come forward, they're feeling more free. They're feeling a little bit more at ease to talk about the programs that they've been involved in. And so that's why we're getting a whole new series of witnesses who've been involved in these programs. And that's what we really need. We really need these firsthand witnesses.
Do you think these witnesses that haven't come out yet, but feel that there's this new law, like you're just mentioning, will protect them? Are they still concerned for their lives, even though that this law is implemented? Remember, this is some pretty black budget programs, deep black. Who knows what they're capable of?
Well, there's always a concern, but when more people come forward, it allows others to feel more comfortable, and then they will be convinced to a little bit, bring their accounts forward as well. That's what we need. And so we have in the form of documents, in the form of drawings, in the form of testimony. In some cases, these people will go on film and get recorded. And when you put the entire body of evidence together, now you've got something that's undeniable. They can't squirm around this anymore. This whole talk about Malmstrom Air Force Base and they not knowing anything about it at congressional hearings, we're way beyond that now. We've got this thing sealed up. There's no wiggle room for these people left anymore, like within the government. They can't come up with any excuses that they don't know about this. Their own Air Force personnel who are at the silos, who are guarding ICBM facilities, we've got their testimony. We've got the documents. So it's really undeniable at this point, and we just will not let them get away with it anymore.
Absolutely well said, Michael. And let me tell you, again, we've covered this extensively in our latest documentary, the trilogy in the past few years, to Countdown to Disclosure, Above Top Secret, now UFO Endgame. Let's take a quick look from what Michael Schratt has to say, exclusive right here from UFO Endgame. Watch this.
Dr. Greer had talked about, and he wrote a white paper that discusses this. If you've got a classified program, you've got a USAF program, unacknowledged special access program. So from the very get-go, if this is contrary to the Constitution at the very beginning, then the entire program goes against the law. So they're not bound to their national security oaths because it's extra constitutional from the very get-go. So you can see the way Greer has played this is very masterful, it's very genius. So not necessarily are all these people under this umbrella of secrecy if the entire program is extra constitutional from the very beginning. And so it's a very good play that we can capitalize on, and it might be a wedge to get in there so that some of these programs can be declassified.
Quite incredible, some of the statements there, Michael. Now let's bring in Jim Goodall. He's been working behind the scenes as well. And recently you're going to be having a guest over at your house, or you're making connection with somebody working within the NSA. I know you can't get into too many details, but what excites you most about some of these contacts that are possibly willing to come forward?
Well, it's about time. They've been belittled people who have come out. They have persecuted them. They've fired them. They have threatened them. And now with some laws to protect the whistleblowers, some of these people are finally deciding enough's enough. We the American people need to know one way or the other, are we being visited by beings from another solar system or another universe or somewhere else in the universe, or is it just our stuff? We need to know one way or the other. And until we do, we're not going to rest. We're going to keep digging and being a pain in the rear to those that are trying to keep the information from the public.
It is about the information bringing forth to the public, and could they handle it? It's a big question, but we need politicians out there, leadership in Congress, the Senate, even at the highest level, to bring it to the people. But in this clip from UFO Endgame, people are saying that you look the part. You could stand in as president or senator. You've got a following there. Let's just take a quick look at UFO Endgame, man. You're pretty slick in this one. Check it out, guys.
Okay, but are you aware of the report, or that the data exists somewhere?
I have heard stories. I have not seen the official data on that.
So you've just seen informal stories, no official assessment that you've done or exists within DoD that you're aware of regarding the Malmstrom incident?
All I can speak to is what's within my cognizance, the UAP task force, and we have not looked at that incident.
When he was saying that he had absolutely no knowledge of unknown alien craft overflying our military installations and affecting our nuclear triad, the man should have been fired right there.
Like I said, a politician, definitely not. Politicians need to pretty much make up stories to get in their voting calibration. But man,
Yeah,
good. You're looking good at that one.
I clean up pretty good if I try. So
what do you make of this? What's going on right now? What excites you in the most way?
Well, the government is supposed to be working for us.
Mm-hmm.
We have a right to know. Yeah, every time that they said, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that," they seem to be able to weasel out of it. Now with some new laws or regulations that remove the penalty for whistleblowers, it's going to take a couple of them with real big kahunas saying, I've been witnessing this stuff for 20, 30, 40 years. I don't want to go to my grave with it. The heck with what the government says. I'm going to go public, and that's what we're waiting for. And I think the timing is right. There's so much evidence of unknowns, buzzing our cities, buzzing our military aircraft, naval ships. There's been reports of stuff going 700 miles an hour underwater, and we have a right to know if it's it's national security. Bull. We as American taxpayers should know if there's a threat towards us or towards the Earth in general. And keep saying what's national security, define national security. How exactly would this hurt the United States military or the United States government? It doesn't. But it is the people who control the black programs. It's the people who control the security on those programs. That is power. And these people are just, they're going to fight tooth and nail to relinquish any of that power.
And what do you make of that, Michael? This power and this global transnational takeover of the most insane black budget technology out there. How far advanced do you think it is? And can we prove it to the people? We still don't have any tangible evidence yet.
Yeah. One option would be to find out, and this might be a question for Jim. What do you think, Jim, remains of the low observable branch at the D ring in the Pentagon? Do you think there's still something there?
Yeah, I believe probably 90% of the objects that we're seeing out wherever are more than likely man-made. But all there has to be is one. All there has to be is one that came from some other place than here for us to be concerned. If they have the ability to travel across the solar system, travel, intergalactically, and they're coming here, we as the American taxpayers and the public should not tell us what's happening. We need some truth in this. Just keep saying what's classified is classified or is national security is a bunch of garbage. We have the right and we have the need to know how to protect ourselves. The government, the military can't be everywhere. I think one of the reasons more and more stuff's coming out because more and more people have stuff like this. The cameras in some of these, the newer cell phones are equivalent to a good 35 millimeter camera. So more and more people, everybody has one. So anytime there is an unknown in the air, first of all, having a pixel moving around the sky is nothing but a pixel moving around in the sky. That doesn't prove anything. It moved. There was something up there, or you were shaking, or whatever. We need some definitive imagery. A fuzzball is not going to do it, and
that's the problem. That's the only thing the major media wants to show. When we have tens of thousands of videos over 10 years, 14 years collecting evidence from the public, the people around the world, I think the archive is probably up to about 30 or 40,000 submissions. We don't share them all, but when there's something that we can't explain, that's what we shared. There's so much out there that beats these things up and down. What they're showing us on the major media just doesn't want to touch the public's evidence. What do you think the reason behind that is, Michael?
Well, one reason is that the propulsion systems of these craft would take out the industry. So you would no longer need internal combustion engines. You wouldn't need nuclear power plants. You wouldn't need coal fire plants. You wouldn't need wind generating farms, solar energy. All this would be obsolete literally overnight. So you can see that there's a geopolitical, economic reason why they keep these things wrapped. And they're going to stop at nothing to have a monopoly on that technology. And so everything that you see out in our world is nothing but a construct and a pale reflection of what they've got.
But to the point of these videos, that why are they only showing these military videos and not the the common person that's just walking down the street and sees something incredible that blows away the military evidence and shows a lot more quality? You could actually see structure and possible reasons behind what makes these craft have propulsion that's unexplained. But the fact is that they're not sharing the public video. To me, is just it seems that all the major media's together with the same narrative that whatever it is, it's unknown and it's a threat.
I mean, they all.
Jim had talked about where everyone has a cell phone now, and the numbers are kind of on our side. It could be billions to one. People have all these cell phones. We should be seeing more videos, and I don't think they can keep everything under wraps. So
the major media doesn't want to play the people's videos. It's just that's the fact, and it's kind of sad.
I mean, we could have one land on the White House lawn during a Rose Garden live presentation or briefing, and they would find some way to hide it or to say, well, this is just CGI or whatever. It's gonna take a major event before they believe it, and hopefully, well, there are people say, well, they're a threat. If they were a threat, we would have known it a long time ago. I'm talking about centuries ago. They've been coming here forever. There's indication that they've been coming here for thousands of years. Someone posted something and said, well, maybe we're the insane asylum for the universe, and they bring all their crazies and dump them off here. With the events of the last couple of years, I tend to agree with that statement. It
seems that they want to keep rolling out the threat. We don't know what it is when in fact it's ours. But the main reason why they don't want to admit to it is because they want to create a defense defense industry to protect against something that we already know what it is, but leaving the public out of it, they'll blame it on the ET, but they're for creating all kinds of money into the war machine to defend against something we created ourselves, but not letting the public know. It's interesting to think about, but it's always about the money and the military strategy. And who are we going to fight? Let's fight something we don't know what it is, but in fact, it's our own technology.
It's always been about the money. I mean, that is, that's the golden idol that they bow down to. Everything is about the almighty dollar and the power that, if you're controlling the purse strings, that's a tremendous amount of power. So you have these public and private entities when the federal government is coming in and says, we really don't want you to, to publish that or do this or do that. And if you do, we may have to pull your license or have an IRS audit on every member of your family. It's fear and intimidation, and that's been their go-to, since day one. Let's intimidate them. Let's anybody who comes forward, even in today's world, with we have qualified military pilots saying, "Hey, I chased one." We have Apollo astronauts said they were being watched when they were on the moon, and their technology was far superior to ours. So, it's we have to have those few pebbles that we're pushing down from the top of the mountain. Hopefully they'll gather and have an avalanche of information in the short term. We've been waiting since before Roswell. I mean, we have stuff in 41. There's stuff going back to the 1800s. You look at the
Michael's got all the evidence. He's been collecting it. It's 60,000 documents of eyewitness testimony going back over 100 years. Michael's been bringing the goods on that. What about Blue Room Media? I know we're going to have to get going. We've got a lot of things ahead of us, and we've got a big interview coming up tomorrow and the day afterwards. We're going to let everybody know. But right now, things are going really incredibly fast as far as UFO Endgame to disclosure. But people are asking, Michael, when are we going to see more content on their YouTube channel, Blue Room Media?
Definitely have been busy. New full-color illustrations have been made. They've already been done. I'm getting 2 more this Friday, and I absolutely have to do another segment. I have to do a brand new crash retrieval update, and I'll definitely have some surprises.
And there should be a book 2 coming out one of these days as well.
Okay.
Big things happening for Michael coming up in DC. We got the National Press Club that's happening once again. Dr. Greer, after over 20 years, he's back doing the same thing that shocked the foundations of ufology. The National Press Club again's happening. We're going to be all meeting up in DC again. Exciting things. And Jim Goodall's just made again going crazy. The book, your Blackbirds. Your book's doing really well. You were just at Elon Musk's, invited by Elon Musk to go check out the Hawthorne base over there in Los Angeles.
That was
I'm a big fan of your work.
Yeah, Michael was there. Joel Christopher Payne was there.
Elon Musk is inviting you because he's a big fan of your book, and it sits on his desk.
Absolutely. The day he got my Blackbird book, he told his key person, his personal aide, "You call Mr. Goodall and you invite him to space, tour SpaceX with a couple of friends." So I chose, the ones that made the most sense. My very dear friend Michael and my dear friend Joel. So we had a great time there. Elon was tickled. He held my Blackbird book up to him and told his staff, "This is mine. No one touches it." And I was told he has it on his desk, not in his bookshelf, not on his credenza, but on his desk. And I asked, "Hey, can I get a picture of Elon holding my book?" And she said, "No."
Oh wow!
So hey. I did send him my 75 Years of the Lockheed Skunk Works book, and hopefully he's gotten it. I won't. I'll know. I may or may not know one way or the other. So we'll find out.
We do expect to be able to.
When everything else fails and they got nothing else, they're going to have to go to fake alien invasion.
It's a mind-blowing situation. For the public, it's like, oh, a conspiracy theory, it's entertaining. But if you're actually in a responsible position and you find out that there's a whole secret government program that you don't know about, it's a shock.
This report comes from a shadowy Pentagon department that was shut down in 2012.
The disclosure movement has been hijacked by people parroting the narrative and the script being written by these black projects. I would say 90+% of everything that's going to come out is false.
There's going to be no more of these near misses.
The most widely seen UFO right now is not alien, it's actually ours.
It's a great cover story for all kinds of criminal activities. Blame it on the aliens, right?
If we are being visited by interdimensional beings, we should know about it.
This has the big disadvantage of the truth being much more unbelievable than the fiction.
It's the crash retrievals that are the Rosetta Stone for solving the UFO cover-up.
This is Operation Failsafe.
The implications of this is the difference between an extinction-level civilization versus one that's going to take off to the stars.
Oh, how